What is going on, Buckeye Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Ohio State Football with Scarlet and Great. Man, we had it all for you, didn't we, last night? A beautiful performance by the Buckeyes, seasonable fall temperatures. Oh, what a great game. A night game in the shoe. Blackout doesn't get much better. It is Sunday morning outside of another seasonably chilly but very nice fall temperatures here in Cleveland, Ohio, as we bring you today's episode recapping the Buckeyes bludgeon the Badgers in a beatdown. Say that 5 times fast. How about that? The Buckeyes bludgeon the Badgers in a beatdown. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to recap all kinds of stuff on this show, grade this performance. It's never too early for Heisman talk, right? We always want to talk a little Heisman, where the Buckeyes stand with that, the revamped run game, and, of course, it wouldn't be a complete show hosted by yours truly unless we talked about a little of that team up north blunders. So real quick, help us grow the channel, guys. 52 subs for 52 points by the Buckeyes offense last night. A historic number, I might add. But to honor that, let's get 52 subscriptions on this channel to honor the 52 points scored by the Buckeyes. That would get us over 4,700 subscriptions. The historic performance is that Jim Lehonard, according to RJ Young Show, Jim Lehonard has never given up more than 41 at Wisconsin while he was a defensive coordinator. That is pretty excellent. We know the defensive prowess of the Wisconsin Badgers, even in their one loss this year, as Florida Corey pointed out. They only gave up about 250 yards to Washington State. So really, really good defensive performance, or a really good defense that they went against to put up 52 last night. We're going to get into grading this. Last night I asked on Twitter, how would you guys grade this performance? Most of you said, B+ to an A range. There was a few outliers, a little lower, a little higher there. My performance, my grade overall for the Buckeyes last night against Badgers, A-. Okay. There are a few things that kept them from being, a full A or A+. Not to say this was a bad performance by any means. Most of us would be happy with the A- grade. I think this probably the highest grade probably definitely the highest grade, the best game of the Buckeyes so far this year. I think that this team has not looked not focused, but they have looked only fairly focused, I would say, fairly decently focused all year. This last night, they looked pretty focused. I'm not going to say all the way focused, but there were way less stupid mistakes. And I think that overall, the only thing that went against them is the defense faltered a little bit late, right, with the backups in, allowing first string Wisconsin to rip off a big touchdown run. And CJ didn't have a great game for his standards. Besides, the first quarter was excellent. Now, CJ wasn't bad by any means. Now, he was probably a B-, probably a B-. But a B- for CJ Stroud is fantastic for most people in the country. He still ended up throwing 5 touchdowns. So, 62.9%. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad by him. But those are the things keeping us, from getting a full A. CJ's throwing the ball high, had that pick, threw the ball really high to Cade Stover, almost got him hurt, missed some high, but overall, really nice game. The Buckeyes just ripping through their opponent and staying, they never really lost control of the game. They just took the heart of the Badgers right away. Remind me of the 2019 night game against Nebraska. The run game and the defense looked excellent most of the time. So that really, really helps this grade stay up in that A range. The run game, you're looking at Miyan Williams looking great. TreVeyon Henderson struggles with some vision sometimes, but we know his ability. The offensive line played the best game I have seen from them in easily. That was probably the best game since I think Rutgers last year against a decent opponent. It is maybe the best game in several years. It was a really, really awesome performance by them. And the whole team runs better when the O-line plays better. Some of you even think Ryan Day is actually a good play caller now. That's odd. I thought he needed to give up play call duties. Or is it, as I've said all along, when the team executes, namely the offensive line everything clicks better, and the play that is called is actually successful, and you guys don't get so upset that it was a bad play call just because it was poorly executed. There's no play call where the offensive lineman misses their assignment and the play gets blown up. That's just execution. So some of you guys are back. Maybe you don't want Kevin Wilson to call the plays now all of a sudden. Heisman talk, guys. How about this? Give this video a like if you think CJ Stroud wins the Heisman. I think he does this year. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I'm not saying Stetson Bennett's not having an awesome year. I'm not saying Bryce Young's not a baller. I'm not saying Brock Bowers that they couldn't pad his stats and maybe make a run. That guy's freaky. He had 2 carries, 2 touchdown rushes yesterday, like 77 yards at 2 touch. That guy's insane. Anyway, excuse me while I sip this coffee, my nice black coffee. It's shout out to my friend Tommy out there, one of my Twitter warriors. Give him a follow, TMB out there. But I think this is CJ's year, and here's why. Last night was not his night. That was one of the worser performances by him. Worser? Is that a word? Worser? Worserist? That was worse. One of the worseristest, I think is right, performance I've seen by him for his standards in a while. And check it out, guys. He still had 5 touchdowns. Now, he had 1 pick. I think it should have been 3 picks. He had 1 drop that should have been a pick 6, and then that 1 laser in the end zone, which was crossed between a freaking fantastic throw and should have been a pick because the safety read it. He just missed the ball, came in under. Now, granted, every quarterback gets away with some of those. Some of the times the defenders drop picks. Not that uncommon to see a defender drop an interception. So I'm not saying, it should have absolutely had to be 3 picks. I'm just saying that kind of shows you the kind of game he was having. It could have easily been 3 picks. Maybe I should say could have been 3 picks instead of 1. Maybe that's a little bit better verbiage there. But even with him not playing his game, guys, he still had 63% passing. Bad game, 63% passing. I think we can all agree he was not accurate for his standards. Not accurate for his standards gets you to 63%. He added 5 That's huge. When it's just a lot of times it's a statistical award. When the run game is clicking and you're playing a good defense, which I believe Wisconsin is a good defense. Even in their loss, they're only allowed 250 yards. When it's not your day and you're a little inaccurate, and you're without your number 1 receiver, and you're just not at the peak of your game, and you throw a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and you have 5 TDs, and as low as your completion percentage can get is 62.9, it feels like his year. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying his low performance still having such a great stat line. And with these receivers, yes, it will help him. Unless somebody else tweets out, well, how much credit does he get for having such great receivers? If he can do that good while his stat line still look that great. SportsCenter tweeted out bragging on his stat line yesterday. We watched the game and said, man, that was not vintage CJ Stroud, but his stat line sure looked pretty good. 288, I think. So that's why when his game isn't that great, and he's still throwing 63%, 5 touchdowns, it just feels like his year. Right now, his regular season pace, this is regular season, no Big Ten championship game, 12 games, 3,666 yards, which I realize is not gaudy, but I think you can really count that this pace will carry out because we played 2, let's call them Power 5 opponents out of 4 so far. 2 of maybe the top 3rd teams on the schedule have already played. He's on schedule for 48, probably 50 if you get that 13th game, at least 50 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's CJ Stroud's regular season pace. That's a Heisman, guys. That's a Heisman season, especially no one's going to win it twice. The voters don't like to do that. People see that Bryce is struggling with his receivers. He's great, but he's not the thrower CJ is. He's more of a baller. He's more of a competitor. He'll scramble or run. I get it. He'll probably have better Heisman moments because their team will be in more dogfights. But CJ is just, this is his year. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think he wins the Heisman. And again, give it a like if you think he will. All right. With that being said, guys, with Ohio State just absolutely running over Wisconsin, I want to know, do you think they'll be number one in this week's rankings? If Georgia didn't beat Oregon by 1,000 in week one, even though, look, Alabama will get a little bit of a pass for Texas because it was week one. Ohio State will get a little bit of a pass for Notre Dame because it was week one. Georgia just came out and dominated a decent Oregon team in week one. That is the only thing that's keeping Georgia is fault. Georgia, 17 over Kent State? It was a 10-point game late last night. I mean, can you imagine if the Buckeyes did that? So I really believe that you could make a case for Ohio State to be number one in this week's rankings. Do you give them that? Now, I don't think the voters will. They don't like to drop teams, specifically SEC teams. I think maybe, they don't watch the games. We don't watch all the games. I get it. But if Ohio State doesn't drop that game late or that touchdown late, and this is a 52-14 box score, maybe they get some more first place votes. I expect them, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Look, I just don't think you can do much with that. I would like to see them be at least number two in one of the two polls this week. All right. Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, you are now Frytown. Justin Fry coming in and revamping this run game. What an excellent job he's done. We're going to get through this and then laugh at Michigan for just a second. But Frytown, 6.2 yards per carry, again, against a good Wisconsin, up, down, indifferent. That's a good defensive front. Jim Lehonard don't let you just run roughshod. Miyan Williams had over 9 yards of carry. I don't know if there's an injury, a tweak, or whatever. He had like 11 carries to TreVeyon's 21. But he was excellent. 9 yards a carry, 6.2 yards a carry overall. That's including Dallin Hayden's number, who looked very good again. But again, late in the game, vanilla play calling, that he's just getting the ball over and over. His average is not going to be as high. I think without that, you're probably looking at more of a 7 yards per carry type number. So Columbus, Ohio is Frytown now. Justin Fry is doing an absolutely outstanding job. Just getting this offensive line where it needs to be, picking up short yardage, balancing out the offense, adding that run game element that we were missing so badly last year, and really, I think, helping the short yardage and red zone offense out immensely, and keeping CJ Stroud clean. I thought Matt Jones looked nice last night, and you don't hear his name called out a lot. So really good game by the offensive line. Beautiful run game, beautiful execution. And before we move on to our favorite weasels just to the north, one more sip of coffee so I can really get amped up for having a little laugh at our friends that schedule like children's expense. I'm interested in who you guys think is better, Wisconsin or Maryland. I think that may be a similar type of team, not stylistically, but how good they actually are. I think Maryland is a good, not great, above average. By above average, I mean out of 130 teams, 65 being the mean right in the middle. They're better than 65th in the country, I would think. Michigan beating their chest and JJ for Heisman, Guys, you beat Maryland by one score after they gifted you a touchdown from their special team blunders. Could you imagine if Ohio State was one score better than Wisconsin last night? Just one? This would be, a monumental letdown. This team's not focused. Was Ryan Day just are they too concerned with their birth control rings that Holly Rowe is showing off? Yes, I called them birth control rings. Are they just not there? Is Jim Knowles got to go? Was he a bad hire? Was Justin Fry a bad hire? No, but when Michigan does, we needed this dogfight before we go into Kinnick Stadium. We needed this. We just survive in advance. Guys, Michigan's not a bad team, but calm down. When you play three of the worst teams in football, you get the results you got, and it meant nothing. Your team was not ready for a fight, and they had just a good team that gave them all they could handle, because that's about where Michigan is, an above-average good team. That's about what they are. Calm down. It's okay. Last week, some of you guys got in your feelings when I made fun of them. This is what I love. I love being right after the fact. You can come back, look at the evidence. Oh, Johnny was right. I was wrong. You all owe me an apology, all you Wolverine fans. It's okay. All right, last word of note. What's going on with Sparty real quick? A friend that has rooting interest in the Spartans last night messaged me and told me, he said, hey, Mel Tucker is stealing from Sparty. And I replied, that's racist. Come back and see us next time, guys. As always, goodbye, God bless, and go Bucks.